Dzień dobry, witam bardzo serdecznie, Baldur's Gate 3. Czekaj, co ja mam tu? Szulkę? Nice. Nice. Ostatnio pokupowaliśmy sobie wszystko, co chcieliśmy z tego. Jesteśmy w nowej lokacji. Minęło trochę czasu, kiedy grałem w Baldura. Trochę inne gierki mnie pociągnęły za sobą. Rogatka. A, tędy szliśmy. O Jezu, to ma masakra. W ogóle zauważyłem dwa problemy. Jesteśmy strasznie w dupie, jeżeli chodzi o expa.
Back of the line. I'll be the first of us to swear to the general.
Okej.
The Absolute herself called us here. They cannot stop us from seeing Zorel now.
Zajebiście.
Not all of us survived the shadows to stand here. My wife, my sons, they were unworthy.
O kurwa. Sorry.
One of
Wow.
her blessed, aren't you? To hear her voice, I cannot imagine.
Fajnie macie, no. Kawał dobrej zabawy. Chciałem pozbierać jakieś questy poboczne. Że trochę podekspić moją postać, bo nasze postacie są tak, no, do tyłu.
Bunch of the others were rounded up in the main hall a while ago. They ain't come back.
Heard a rumor some do-gooder stopped a horde of absolutists from getting their hands on a load of druids in some grove. Whoever it was, better pray the general doesn't smoke 'em out. Be a bloodbath, so it would.
Okej, lepiej, żebyśmy się nie przyznawali, że to my.
Wouldn't head into the main hall if I were you. Zorel and 𝗬𝗀𝘀𝘆 are working on some poor worm.
Okej, mamy nie wchodzić, tylko ja bym chciał wejść mimo wszystko.
To stand this.
Może jak poczekam sobie w moim obozie, to może trochę tam się poprawi situation.
What do you need now?
Wow, jesteś kurwa miły, naprawdę. Jezu, ukradłem ci coś. Przykro mi.
Well, my day just improved. Did you want something? I'm sure you do. But please try to understand that it's not something I can just talk about freely. Very well. Perhaps there's potential in you. Let's see how you handle this. I am indeed a disciple of Shah, mistress of the night and lady of loss. I assume you've heard of her?
Okej. Nie będę cię osądzać.
Curious. Most are afraid of my lady. I think I did well by joining you. Most agreeable company. Very serious of you. But go ahead.
Coś cię pochłania.
I won't pretend that I don't know what you mean. Ever since we entered the Shadow Curse, I felt like something's calling to me. Some purpose that I need to find. Give me some time. If I can figure out whatever it is that I need to do, well, then there should be more time for us.
Okej. Sądzisz o tym, co nas spotkało?
It's a lot to process. Nautiloids, tadpoles, the escape, the wilderness. And now I've seen an entire land under the sway of Lady Shah's power. Honestly, I think I'm caught for words.
Masz chyba jakieś przemyślenia.
Must I? Thinking about it won't help. We know what to do, so let's do it. Find a way to rid ourselves of these things. There's Volo. If he's as knowledgeable as he boasts to be, perhaps he can help. I suppose we'd go our separate ways. Not a slight on your company, of course.
Skoro się dogadujemy, to nie widzę powodu, żebyśmy nie mieli trzymać się razem.
Perhaps. Perhaps not. If we do survive, we'll have separate lives to return to. I need to get to Baldur's Gate. There's someone waiting for me there. Someone I have to reach. As soon as possible.
Okej.
Thank you. And you're right. It's a delicate matter. Not something for light conversation.
Okej. Jak sobie radzę, twoim zdaniem?
Quite splendidly, to give credit where it's due. You and I have shared some good times together, and it seems we have plenty in common. Considering all we've been through, I think I was very lucky to find such favorable company. And attractive company too, no less.
Co sądzisz o mocach?
On one hand, they seem useful. But on the other hand, or perhaps tentacle before long, we know where they're coming from. And what lies at the end of that path. I never expected 𝗤𝗏𝗡𝘆 to be tempting. I think we should resist these powers. There's simply too many unknowns for us to risk it.
Przeciwnik ma przewagę. Czy możemy pozwolić sobie na ignorowanie potencjalnej korzyści? Ojeju, 15, będzie ciężko. Dawaj! O, chyba się uda, no. Aha, bo tam jeszcze bierne mam. Dobrze. To na 100% się udało.
Perhaps you have a point. Fine. Let's explore these powers then. I just hope we don't come to regret it. Fine. What's on your mind?
Nic więcej się nie pojawiło. Dobra. Okej. O, Will. Ajajaj.
Your mind mingles with Will's, and he learns of Mazora's mission to Moonrise.
The more bullshit she pours, the more of it I'm forced to swallow.
Mazora set me on fiends inside and outside the Hells. She's never ordered a rescue.
Gods. She makes a mockery of everything the blade stands for. Such an asshole.
Okrutnie zniknie z twojego życia. Wykonaj zadania i Mizora uwolnić cię od twojego... Okej. Czy ty przypadkiem nie miałeś polować na diabły?
The same thought crossed my mind. I'm only to hunt the infernal, the demonic, and the heartless. But nowhere was it stated that I can't help one. Either we find it, or I'm made a mindless blob clawing at demons on the front line of the Blood War.
Nie pozwolę na to, jest zbyt ważne dla wybrzeża mieczy.
And it means everything to me. I always knew what my future held, and I know I chose right. Thank you for sticking your neck out for me. I mean it. But I'm not going to celebrate till I'm actually free. I can feel Mazora scheming, plotting. She won't let me go without making a fuss. Trust me on that. I think that unknowable powers come with unknowable consequences. I can't say I'm not curious, but once you've taken a 𝗤𝘚thid by the talon, there's no telling how deep into the abyss it might drag you.
Nie wiemy, z czym się składa. No okej, może. Będzie 18, chyba dobrze, nie? Czy musi być więcej? Dobrze.
Yes, I suppose we should. Though I'm more than a bit wary. Still, I am the frontier's avowed protector. New dangers require new skills to vanquish them. If the tadpole must be my curse, then let the powers it grants me be the Sword Coast's blessing. I will consume what I must to make it so.
Okej. Alcin.
The shadow curse is upon us. As foul as I remember it. Perhaps even worse. But with the Oak-Father's blessing, we may soon see it banished from these lands.
Skąd wiesz tyle o pasożycie?
I studied one up close. Closer than most would care to be to those things. A drow attacked me and I defended myself. Afterwards, I was able to examine the tadpole that emerged. Hideous, but fascinating. Like nothing else in nature, I'm glad to say.
Okej. Jak Guy poradzi sobie bez ciebie?
Hopefully. I've chosen a successor as first druid, Francesca of the High Forest. I sent a bird to summon her.
Kogo takiego?
Precisely. Who indeed? You do not know, and neither do any of the others. The Grove needs to move beyond the mistakes of the past. What it needs is an unknown quantity. An outsider who can enforce the Oak-Father's teachings without bias. This is why I chose Francesca. She will restore simplicity and purity to the Grove in my absence.
Okej. To brzmi dobrze.
Contrary to how some think of us, we druids can play politics when necessary.
Zrzeszenie się tytułu nie mogło przyjść łatwo. Nie będzie ci brakować pozycji pierwszego druida?
Miss it? Oh dear no. It's a terrible burden. Takes you away from nature and forces you to deal with others' problems and personalities. Be wary of anyone who actually wants such a role, I say. Likely they don't understand it, or they have ill intent. I'm just glad to be out here amidst the Oak-Father's creations.
Te ziemie muszą przywołać wiele wspomnień. Miałeś tylko nadzieję, że nadal czujesz się z nami komfortowo.
It's not easy seeing the ravages of the shadow curse. But your camp is a most welcome solace. You've shared your fire with me, your company. A small pocket of light against the darkness. But one I couldn't do without. Thank you.
Okej. Nie ma za co.
You're too modest by far. What fate would I have met without you? Rotting in the goblin cells? Dying against an onslaught on the Grove? More good has been done since I met you than in 100 years before.
Jezu.
Words cannot express my gratitude.
Nie potrzeba słów, wiem co czujesz.
Yes, I think you do. Forgive me. Sometimes I forget myself, gazing on the beauty of nature's creations.
Jesus, 𝗬𝗀𝗱𝘆, what the fuck?
How can I help?
Ha, ten jego śmieszny głos. Czy Mystra jest zawsze tego wymagającym boginią?
She expects those who seek to use the weave to do so honestly and with respect for its potential to destroy, as well as its potential to save. I doubt she's asked many of her followers to blow themselves up. That's a fate she's bequeathed exclusively to me. She wouldn't ask such a thing if it weren't our only means of survival. However much she's annoyed at me.
Jak się czujesz?
Oh, you know me, ever the optimist. I'm trying to focus on the positives. Truth is, I was living on borrowed time already. Consuming those items would only have kept the orb sated for so long. If anything, I feel more at peace than I have in months. At least now I know my death will have purpose. It won't be a distant bang in the footnotes of history.
Dlaczego Elminster nie zmierzy się z absolutem?
I've no doubt she has the power to do so, but as for the permission, 𝗬𝗯𝘱 would not look kindly on her meddling in mortal affairs. Divine intervention has a tendency to make things worse, not better. As for Elminster, he's saved the realms more times than legend can recount. But to take on a god is no easy feat, even for him. My orb is the best chance we have. And only I can wield it.
Nie mam pojęcia, o czym ty mówisz do mnie, naprawdę.
Ah, yes. 𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 was perhaps the most powerful wizard that ever lived. The child who would be a god, the elves called him. And he tried. With a spell of his own devising, he endeavored to usurp in one fell swoop the power of the goddess of magic. 𝗲𝗡, she was called then. Imagine what it must have felt like to be a god, to know yourself to be untouchable, to be mistaken. As 𝗏𝗏𝗏 aimed his spell at her, she began to unravel, and with her, the entire weave. Too late did he realize what he had unleashed. It would have been the end of everything had not 𝗲𝗡 sacrificed herself. The goddess of magic is all magic. By dying, the entire weave was lost, and the spell that challenged a god failed. It was the end of 𝗲𝗡, the end of 𝗏𝗏𝗏, and the end of an entire civilization. As the child who would be a god was turned to stone, his empire came crashing down around him. The floating cities of Netheril were no more. An event that came to be known as 𝗏𝗏𝗏's folly.
Kiedy śmiertelnicy pragną zostać bogami, nigdy nie prowadzi się do niczego dobrego.
Loving them has its side effects as well. Now, so many centuries later, I try to follow in the footsteps of 𝗏𝗏𝗏. Not to destroy 𝗲𝗏, but to prove my love for her. I tried to control only a fraction of the magic that was unleashed that fateful day. I merely sought to return one tiny diamond to an imperfect crown. Gale's folly, one might call it. History, repetition. It's the way things go.
Co myślisz o tym, że mamy wampira w obozowisku?
And I know what it takes to keep that hunger under control. He's done that so far, despite his condition. So long as he sates his appetite elsewhere, I'm happy to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okej. Tam pogadaliśmy, tu pogadaliśmy. Will też pogadany. Co to robiło? A. No to nie. Okej. No bym się zdrzemnął, nie? Już tu jestem. Zakończ dzień, no właśnie. Jeden z członków chce z tobą porozmawiać. To. A, wait. Rzeczywiście.
Good evening. I'm here on behalf of 𝗬𝗚𝘱𝗆. He wishes to extend you an invitation for a private conversation in a more suitable locale.
Okay.
Gladly. Simply follow yonder path and soon you will find him.
Dobra, nie będzie.
I love this time of night. There's an almost reverent silence that accompanies the peak of darkness, when you'd almost believe the dawn will never break. The cradle of eternity. The timelessness of lovers. That most beautiful of fantasies.
Jesteś wyjątkowo filozoficzny.
I will be. Soon. I am perhaps just one hard day away from being without any troubles at all. This may be my last night alive. I wanted it to be under a canopy of beauty and wonder. I thought this place might bring me peace. I thought it might make the weight of what I must do feel a little lighter. But I'm not so sure.
Naprawdę tego chcesz? Umrzeć w zamian za obietnicę przebaczenia mystry?
𝗬𝗚𝗱𝘀𝘀. Coward or hero, death is assured. Mistra's forgiveness is not. If you knew the end was near, would you not want to ensure it had meaning? I am terrified. I will not claim otherwise. My face could scarcely conceal it, even if my words sought to deny it. There is no point in running from the inevitable. Better to meet it on my own terms.
Wszystko można przewidzieć, jeśli tylko stawimy temu czoła razem. Nie musisz umierać.
Yes, but there is so much to live for and so few moments in which to house it all. Damn you. Damn you for giving me so much to care about. Our friends, our adventures. This would have been so much easier if it was just me, but it isn't. If there is a way, any way, to save all that's grown dear to me, I want to seize it. I just cannot fathom what that might be, other than to fail Mystra and condemn the world. Stay with me, will you? I don't want to think of it anymore, but I don't want to be alone either.
Śmieszne, że te kółeczka wszyscy mieli wokół, nie? To było dobre. Oho, Gale znowu chce gadać.
I was hoping to speak to you, as a matter of fact, about the night you were kind enough to keep this melancholy wizard company.
No dalej.
I wanted to thank you. I was sinking into a dark place, but you reminded me there is still light in the world, if I should care to look for it. You may well have prevented me from doing something very rash in the near future. I count myself lucky to call you a friend.
Jej! Zawsze możesz na mnie liczyć.
Careful. I may just take you up on that.
Żeby przez jakiś czas... O, kurwa, jeszcze... On mówi, że mogę nazywać cię przyjaciółką. Zostań w obozie, kurwa. Jesteś niepoczytalny. Oh, man. Dobra, ale to mamy z głowy. W każdym razie wykorzystajmy ten moment, żeby zakończyć odcinek. Serdecznie dziękuję za oglądanie. Trzymajcie się, do usłyszenia, no i cześć. Dziękuję bardzo za oglądanie mojego materiału. Mam nadzieję, że wam się podobało. Jeżeli wam się spodobało, pamiętajcie, żeby kliknąć kciuk w górę, zasubskrybować i kliknąć dzwoneczek. Wszystko, aby zawsze być na bieżąco. Jeżeli macie coś do napisania, napiszcie komentarz, dzięki temu będę wiedział, że jesteście, że wam się podoba i przede wszystkim, że chcecie, żeby tych materiałów pojawiało się więcej. Dodatkowo, jeżeli chcecie się wdzięczyć za to, co robię i podoba wam się moja praca, pamiętajcie, że możecie kliknąć w moją nazwę, wejdziecie do strony głównej mojego kanału, kliknąć opcję wesprzyj i za 2 zł, 10 albo 30 zostaniesz wspierającymi według waszej tutaj chęci i potrzeby oddania trochę tej dobroci w moją stronę. Dziękuję bardzo za oglądanie, trzymajcie się, do usłyszenia i życzę wam miłego. Bardzo serdecznie dziękuję wszelkim wspierającym za to, że jesteście. Dziękuję tym, którzy byliście wspierającymi i dziękuję wszystkim tym, którzy po tym właśnie filmiku zdecydowaliście się na wsparcie. Przede wszystkim to nie jest tak, że wspieracie osobę, która ma tysiące widzów. Wspieracie małą społeczność, której dzięki każdej osobie z was, każdej złotówce, którą mi przelejecie, każdym 2 złotym, które jesteście wspierającymi ptasiakami, za każdą tą jedną osobę bardzo serdecznie dziękuję i za każdą tą złotówkę dziękuję, ponieważ dzięki temu po prostu mam chęci, mam motywację i przede wszystkim mam dodatkowe finanse, które pozwalają utrzymać ten kanał i utrzymać wszystko, co się wokół niego dzieje, włącznie z kosztami prądu, kosztami kupowania nowego sprzętu, kupowania nowych gier i w ogóle całego czasu, które spędzam, czy to nagrywając, czy to streamując i czy to, jeżeli w przypadku wielu sytuacji rozmawiając i wspierając osoby, które w jakiś sposób czują się gorzej. Więc moja działalność jest bardzo szeroka i cieszę się, że doceniacie ją. Jeżeli ktoś z was czuje się gorzej i chciałby ze mną porozmawiać i ma jakieś takie problemy, możecie do mnie napisać, zagadać. Wszystko na Discordzie, a link do Discorda w opisie.